Guten morning.
Buenos dias. Do we have the English subtitles on? I hope so.
Is our microphone working?
I don't know. We're going to figure this one out. I hope it does, because we'll let everyone in on a little trade secret. We're not actually really live.
Oh,
We're kind of live.
It's working.
Well, this one's working. That one's not.
Yeah.
If anyone is an audio engineer, give us a call at 867-5309. Ask for Jenny.
So we got Chubbs here.
I was wondering.
So the team brought back the Chubbs Peterson Trophy, highly coveted. It was a hard-fought victory, and we stuck it out there and won in the end. His fingers only fell off 3 times during the trip. So we're just gonna bring this thing back to the rusty putter.
Oh, that looks like some delicious breakfast there.
Breakfast.
You ever eat that for breakfast?
No. So I just heard that July is the Happy Gilmore 2 release date. Netflix.
Oh no, it's gonna be a Netflix one.
Netflix. Right. I'm gonna move this so I don't knock it over.
We can't afford to lose any fingers on this show here. We hardly have enough fingers to run audio and video at the same time.
All right, what do we got today, Tone Capone?
Well, we had last night. We had not the State of the Union, but the presidential address to Congress.
Was wild.
It was a little raucous.
Yeah,
a lot of booing, a lot of cheering, all of that
people
fun
getting
stuff.
Kicked out.
Get them out.
Get them out.
Slamming the gavel like we're the judge. But in that 90-minute speech, Trump did state that Honda making a massive investment in Indiana.
I saw that.
So they're going to be making the Honda Civic in Greensburg, which is just southeast of Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Not necessarily our normal footprint, but areas that both you and I do business in.
Absolutely.
So I thought, let's look at what my income, like if I'm working at Honda, how much is that going to let me buy, or what can I afford with my income at various levels?
Okay.
Sound like a plan?
Yeah.
We can hear about it. We're going to see about it too.
Ooh.
All right.
So
So
what do we got?
$60,000 a year. All right. Works out to $5,000 a month. These opinions here on maximum housing ratio and maximum total debt ratio, they're a combination of my personal opinion, underwriting guidelines from Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, VA, USDA, Dodd-Frank Ability to Repay Act, all that stuff. So
personal
these are
experience.
These are kind of a blend.
Okay.
But they're well within the norms. All right. So the first one we're going to talk about, this is how we work through how much house can I qualify for? Your housing expense ratio. Okay.
So I make $60,000 a year.
Yeah. So it's $5,000 a month, right, Adam?
Yep.
All right. We're going to multiply that by 38%.
Okay. What's that get us?
$1,900. So that should be where we want to start our baseline on how much housing expense we want.
Got it.
Housing expense is principal, interest, taxes, insurance, PMI, HOA dues if applicable. All right.
Not utilities, not
no, sir.
Maintenance. Okay.
Which is why we use these ratios of 38, because they factor in the assumption of utilities, cable, all of that stuff.
Got it.
So step 2 then is, what is my theoretical maximum total debt load for consumer debts and my housing expense combined?
Okay, so what's my payment for credit cards, car loans,
student loans, Harley loans, Honda CRF 250 loans, all of that stuff. So that number, this one varies a little bit. So we're going to use 44% on that. Depending on loan program, that number could be up to 55%.
Oh wow! Okay.
But we'd like to practice conservative financial approach here.
Yeah.
Right. So that's $2,200. So this tells me, if you're sitting with me, Adam, I'm going to say, well, we need to look for a home that's going to yield a payment about $1,900 a month, as long as your total debt load is not going to exceed $2,200.
Sure.
That doesn't leave a lot of room for a car payment or anything else.
No, that's $300.
Yeah. So we might need to scale some things back, or look at maybe a loan program that allows for a little bit more of an expanded debt to income ratio.
Mm-hmm.
But what are we looking at here? We're looking at a $245,000 price.
Okay.
5% down. All right. At a 6.75% interest rate, all in, assuming taxes are about 1% of the purchase price. Homeowners insurance works out to what's that, $1,500, $1,400?
That's about right. Yeah.
PMI, all of that stuff. Payment works out to about $1,927.
Got it.
So you're likely qualifying from a housing expense ratio. We just have to look at what else you have for other debts out there.
Makes sense.
One of the tricks we can do, and we could go, maybe we'll do a whole episode about this at some point when we talk about understanding all of the insurances, title insurance, homeowners insurance, private mortgage insurance. one of the things that we could look at doing, let's say you had a $400 car payment, so we need to get your total debt load down by $100.
Okay.
What if I told you I get the seller to prepay your PMI?
What? Why would they do that?
They're nice. They want you to buy the house.
Yeah. Okay.
But we can use, so PMI, it exists in various forms. You can pay private mortgage insurance monthly. You can pay it in a single premium. And with that single premium, we can ask for a seller paid closing cost credit, or your real estate agent could, and they can cover that. So that frees up $100 a month in cash flow for you. You get the house.
Got it. And private mortgage insurance, if I just don't pay, it pays for me. That's what it means, right?
Yep. Pretty much. It's great. It's a great deal. It's actually, like it's a lot of people treat it as a swear word in church.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about that PMI, that $100 a month here allows you to only put $12,250 down versus having to put, 15, 20%, like I guess 20% to get rid of it. It's really not that bad of a deal because how are you going to get that other chunk of money, right?
Yeah.
Where is the other $40,000 coming from at that point? Let's look at this, right? Now we're talking about interest rates. Everyone's talking about interest rates. Last week, we hit some published lows in the last 12 months. I'm going to wait. Well, Adam, why are you going to wait?
Why would I wait?
I don't know. You tell me.
Wait on buying?
Yeah, because you want rates to come down,
I want
right?
to come down, yeah.
Well, what if I told you that if rates came down by 0.75%, your
That's
payment,
a lot.
all right, your payment only changes $114 a month.
That's not a lot.
I could probably find $114 a month in your budget.
You're darn right.
It leaks out like Chubb's fingers over there. But so if you're thinking about this, if you're looking in Indiana, $60,000 salary or $60,000 annual income should qualify you in the 240 range without having a substantially large consumer debt load.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's probably what 60,000 works out. Maybe entry level, maybe not super entry level worker at Honda, but I would say a couple years there.
Yeah.
Nothing
Work
too
your way
crazy.
up.
Yeah. Well, how about 80,000, right? So maybe we're getting into like management level here,
Mm-hmm.
early level management. So 80,000 is $6,666. Try to say that one 3 times fast because I sure as hell am not going to.
Sounds devilish.
Exactly. It's the mark of the beast. Anyways, that works out to a maximum housing expense. Again, our opinion, $2,500, a little bit over, and then a total debt load of about $2,933.
Okay.
All right. Let's take all of the information from earlier. Now we'll take a $320,000 house. We'll put 5% down on it. It's a $304,000 loan amount. At a 6.75% rate, these are what the payments could work out to.
Wow.
All right. $2,502. So right on the spot. And now you have, in this case, right, you got about $400 a month of other expenses. Maybe a car payment fits in there, maybe not. But maybe you don't want to buy a $320,000 house either.
Yeah, maybe you can go back down to the 250 and have a little wiggle room there.
You can. And then you're going to tell me, well, Tony, I'm waiting. Rates are too high.
Yeah, we want
too high down. Based on what, Adam?
Based off what my farmer's almanac said.
Ooh, I wonder if they messed up the rain forecast because we did get a lot of rain, Mr. Farmer's Almanac. So El Nino.
Yeah, La Nina.
La Nina and El Nino is Spanish for the Nino.
Yeah.
And on $320,000.
I wanted to come down at least like 0.5%. How
about 3/4 again? $149 a month.
That'd probably save me $500, right? 149.
149. Yeah, 500 is a far stretch, and we'll talk about why we're going through this here because I usually ask this question to people, and I did hear the craziest one ever on Saturday. So now we'll get to management, right? 120,000, or husband, wife, or couple, whatever it is.
Both working.
Household, you guys both work there at entry level, or middle level wages. So you're bringing in 120 grand a year in income, right? It's 10,000 a month. These numbers are super easy, right? Just moving the decimal place, having all that stuff. 3,800 and 4,400. All right. Well, I think this is a crazy one because I don't think a lot of people understand that you can make 120 grand and buy a $500,000 house.
Yeah.
With a limited down payment.
As long as you don't have debt out of control. Other debt.
Yeah, even then, like this one, 38 and 44, right? So you're talking, you got 600 a month. I guess that's, maybe a Honda Civic with leather and air.
Ooh. Power windows.
Automatic transmission. 4 tires.
All those sticks are fun to drive.
It's hard to find them now.
You can't. You got to pay extra. Remember, you used to pay extra for automatic. Not anymore.
I throw a clutch in there, a flywheel. Clutch me, baby. Shift them, changing dots in the drop top prowler. How about that for a car? Wow. Would you pay $600 a month for what were they, like Chrysler prowlers?
Oh, remember those things? The purple ones that they used to be in the rap
video? And then they like made like the PT Cruiser after it. Like,
right.
We're trying to compete with the Pontiac Aztec for the ugliest vehicle.
Now we just got to get a slingshot.
There we go. Get the LEDs on there too.
What was the crazy one you heard?
Oh, well, let's run through this one real quick. That way, then we'll talk about it because it was actually less than this price. So $500,000 price, right?
Yeah.
Works out 5% down, 6 3/4 rate again. All in payment about $3,800. Just a little bit over $3,837.
And it comes down 3/4%, $230.
$230, $3,600.
Wow.
I really like $232. If you divide that over your $10,000 of monthly income, not a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the point in waiting because the other part of this that people talk about, we don't need to prognosticate on or be Nostradamus on, but the assumption of even moderate home price appreciation or continued supply increase and continued demand increase, lower supply, that price keeps going up a little bit. Right. You're gonna lose out on that.
Yeah.
But the crazy one, right? So talked to a gal the other day, going through everything, and what do you think the difference at a 0.5% interest is on $300,000?
What would have to be like $100?
It is. She told me that she thought it was $785.
Who told her that?
This is the best part. Are you ready for this one?
Who told her? Jesus?
Nope.
Oh.
The lady that she works with.
Oh, the lady she works with.
Yes. You shouldn't buy a house. You shouldn't buy a house right now.
Yeah. Why would
you're not going to afford that? Do you know what? Like, if interest rates come down by 0.5%, your payment's going to go down $800 a month.
Yeah. Those are my favorite when people get advice from people. I'm like, oh, okay, well, where did she go to school? What did she do?
It's dangerous advice.
Yeah.
Like it's the equivalent of obviously you were just on a golf trip. I was on a golf trip. Like, you get the guy that you don't play golf with often who has a very very sharp opinion of his swing, and hey, let's try this. That it's everything's different. Your swing different than my swing. Yeah. Not only because we hit from different sides of the ball, but we're shaped differently. We have different length arms, different approaches,
different injuries.
Yeah, you want to talk about like the one size fits all approach. It's like Golf Tech, I think, is the place like you go and you hit into the screen. Yeah. And so I went there for a little bit. My dad went there for a little bit. My brother went there for a little bit. My brother is 6 foot tall, got gangly arms. I'm not. I wish I was 6 foot tall, but they only taught hitting a high draw.
Oh, but that's not.
Do you want to know? It works great if you're a righty. Do you want to know a high draw doesn't work that great for you when you're a lefty?
Oh, wow.
Not a lot of courses set up for that shot.
Right.
But they taught my dad's lefty, I'm lefty, my brother's righty.
Everyone's high draw.
Everyone a high draw.
Yeah, most of the players now are playing a little fade anyways. So.
I dropped my handicap by 5 strokes by getting out of the high draw method. Mm-hmm. Because it just doesn't work when you're lefty.
Makes sense.
So
it doesn't work when you're righty.
Yeah. Just pray, close your eyes and swing. But I think like that's the problem is when you get advice, like canned advice, right? I'm getting it from a guy that can hardly swing a golf club, telling me to hit into a swing with a bunch of like whatever you want to call it, motion sensors, like we're making a video game. And then I find out that advice is just cut up and push back out and push back out and push back out, and not every situation is the same.
Yeah,
I know that you guys have the same opinion. Like insurance, one size fits one. Mortgages, one size fits one.
Yeah, that's true.
I had a lady sitting, but here's where it starts. I had a lady sitting in my office yesterday. All right. Mm-hmm. It took her 15 months to have the confidence to come sit in that chair, but she needed to see it in person. She left in tears, so excited because she didn't think that she could afford what they wanted to afford.
Wow.
I'm like, you could actually afford 3 times what you want to afford. That's pretty cool. She's like, really? I was like, yes. Like, it's not that hard. But you want to know what it was, Adam? We've talked about this a bunch of other times. She was looking at her entire life and her budget from the bottom of the mountain, looking up, going, I've worked really hard. I was too afraid to come sit with you because I wanted to pay off my debt. I wanted to work through all of this stuff, wanted to get everything down in order. And I was like, okay. So We're looking down like that. You have all the baggage from thinking, man, I had all this money going out for all these bills and knocking all these credit cards. Like, no, look at it like this. You're going down now. What we can do is we can take some of this money, right? You're going to sell your other house. Yep. How about this? We're going to sell your other house that you really have, like, they owe $15,000 on it. The whole chase to pay off the mortgage, right? Put them in $49,000 of credit card debt.
That's so silly.
And I was like, this is what we need to do, right? We're going to sell your house. You got some equity there. We're going to put 2 years of mortgage payments. We're going to put that in an account that you're just not going to touch.
Yep.
2 years. That way you don't have to worry. If you move, like they want to move to Indiana, like you want to move and you're afraid that it might cost you a job or the job thing. Like that way you have 2 years of it, right? Stocked away. Then your husband's job still, you still have revenue here. You'll be able to make this mortgage payment. But she was afraid to sit in that chair. And then she was like, it just feels like a giant relief because I have never thought about it looking it down like this. And I was like, here you go. Well, now let's take some of that other money and let's invest
credit cards off. Yeah.
Well, no, credit cards already paid off.
Oh, wow.
So you've now worked that hard. Let's take some of this other money and not plow it into a down payment on a house. Let's make that money make money for you.
Yeah.
And she's like, is that how people do it? And I wish they would all do it like that.
Yeah.
But that's, the perspective there is you can probably afford a little bit more. You just have to make the tough choices. However, we can't do any of that. You and I can't do any of it unless people sit down and want to have a conversation.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna Matata. It's a wonderful phrase. I don't know how else to explain it. It's you got to get up there. You got to hit the golf ball. You got to putt it.
You got to take that risk.
Yeah, just don't do it on FanDuel or DraftKings. Anything else? What else we got today?
Nothing really. We're getting March Madness coming in hot.
Yeah, we gotta get those links out. I think I gotta get that posted.
Masters coming in real hot. We're getting into golf season. 60 degrees on next Tuesday.
With 65. Snow, and I think snow on Friday, maybe.
Yeah, it's gonna do this for a while, but you'll be able to sneak out. Feels like spring. Feels like people are going to buy houses. They're getting their tax returns back. They think they're super rich. Things are gonna heat up. Trump's lowering rates. He said he's gonna lower them.
We'll see.
He said he's going to take care of eggs last night too.
That's a chicken problem. Yeah, I don't want to be a chicken. I don't want to be a duck. So sell some eggs. Yeah, don't worry about any of the fake bird flu stuff. But
yeah,
I think we're seeing a lot of like the tariff stuff. He brought some clear detail on that. So we know April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs going to go in place. All of a sudden, some of these other countries are coming back to the table. Probably is driving a hard bargain.
Yeah.
But sometimes he's got to sit down there and look at the numbers and go, hey, this is out of whack.
This isn't working.
I didn't know. I think he said yesterday, like what India, they have like an impossible tariff on our automobiles. But the other thing is we continue to bring manufacturing back home. Those are jobs that are going to pay $24, $25, $28, $30 an hour.
Yeah.
That is
money coming back into our economy.
That's
where we want.
Which is also, probably pushes home prices up a little bit more. So you need to sit down and have that conversation.
So buy the house now.
Yeah, exactly. Buy now. We need Jim Cramer over here hitting Chuck Peterson. Buy. It doesn't have to be right now, but you have to be able to sit down and have that plan, have that conversation. Because if you think that you make $60,000, but we look at your pay stubs and you make $48,000, that entire conversation changes.
True that.
So don't fall for the, oh, hey, yeah, you're going to be good for it. I had a client the other day. I was like, did they ask you for any of this paperwork? She's like, no. I was like, well, do you want to see like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's guidelines about having two jobs? We can't qualify you. You just started a second job.
Yeah.
So she went from, 500,000 to 250,000.
Yeah.
But
get the good advice. Come see us.
That's it. Pro advice. Adam, how do they get you?
AdamIsMyAgent.com.
Get me at applywithjr.com. Until next week, my friend, we out.
I'm done. Cut the show.